everyone. My name is Mandu Uwem Umo. I am Senior Communications Executive at Copyright Society of Nigeria, COSAN. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce the distinguished chairman of COSAN and respected advocate for the rights of creative people across Nigeria, Chief Tony OKOROJI, as he does the 2024 No Music Day broadcast with the theme, Unmute the Injustice.
Hello. This Sunday, September 1, 2024, the Nigerian music industry once again marks No Music Day. I wish to remind you that No Music Day is a day that the industry in Nigeria has dedicated annually to bring the attention of the Nigerian nation to the widespread infringement of the rights of songwriters, composers, performers, music publishers, record labels, and other stakeholders in the nation's creative industry. You may wish to ask, why is September 1 called No Music Day? 15 years ago, specifically on September 1, 2009, practitioners in the entire Nigerian creative family massed in front of the National Theatre in Lagos and for days refused to eat or drink and demanded that the over 400 licensed broadcast stations in the country who use music as the key raw materials for their operations should broadcast no music for a significant period of that day. And so began what we have celebrated every year since as No Music Day. The mass hunger strike of the creative industry beginning on September 1, 2009, was a result of our frustration with the overwhelming level of intellectual property theft, which is one of the malignant symptoms of a general national malaise. Everywhere you turn in Nigeria, people are reaping where they did not sow and comfortably stealing what does not belong to them. This has manifested itself in endemic corruption that threatens to ruin our country. Please hear me, and hear me well. This sordid culture and penchant for reaping where we did not sow has exposed Nigeria to the free-for-all looting of our national resources, which has left us with a comatose economy, with millions of hungry and desperate citizens suffering in the midst of plenty. This sordid culture of quick money making at all costs has manifested itself in the massive banditry and kidnapping across Nigeria that now threatens the security of each and every one of us. It is this malignant quick money disease that is responsible for the enormous increase in drug trafficking, the huge marketing of fake drugs, and many other fake products, the spread of internet fraud that defaces the image of our country, and the crass injustice in our land that has forced millions of Nigerians to lose faith in the future of our country. Sad as it may sound, many have concluded that there is no hope for Nigeria. Some even say that there must be something wrong with our genes. I say no. No. The truth is that nothing is wrong with our genes. While our politicians and so-called leaders with their take everything and give nothing in return mentality have left millions of Nigerians with devastating hunger, joblessness, and unknown gunmen everywhere, several young Nigerians are flexing their muscles in different parts of the world and soaring in diverse fields. Ashake, Burna Boy, Tiwa Savage, Flavor, and many more are taking what is today called Afrobeats to the world and filling huge venues with rapturous fans paying pounds and dollars to see them. Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal player who now wears the shirt of the English national football team, has Nigerian genes. Victor Osimhen, who has been a top scorer in the very competitive Italian football league, is a full-blooded Nigerian. Toby Amosa, who may not have won any medal at the Paris Olympics, but still holds the world record in 100 meters hurdles, is a Nigerian. Wole Soyinka, the Nobel laureate in literature, is a Nigerian citizen. The internationally respected master storyteller Chinua Achebe was born and died a Nigerian. You might say that Achebe belongs to another generation. Maybe. But the renowned writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who is relatively young, is a Nigerian. Please hear me, and hear me well, when I say that there is nothing wrong with the Nigerian gene. The problem is with our so-called leaders and their cohorts who get to power by corrupting our electoral system, get into office to steal everything their eyes can see. They deploy the institutions and agencies of state as personal tools to enrich themselves and do manifest injustice to others. And when they are caught, they run and hide and cover themselves under the duvet of tribalism. Then they use all kinds of manipulations to corrupt and weaken the judicial system and deceive themselves that they have escaped justice forever. Please, let me be clear. The rampant infringement of the intellectual property rights of songwriters, composers, performers, music publishers, record labels, and other stakeholders in Nigeria's creative industry does not stand on its own. It is not isolated. It is part of the national malaise and penchant for reaping where we did not sow, which has exposed Nigeria to the free-for-all looting of our national resources and left us with a comatose economy with millions of our countrymen hungry, desperate, and suffering in the midst of plenty. Trust me, if we must bring about the end of the malignant infringement of copyright, which has now moved from Alaba to the internet and threatens our creative industry, we must attack the problem from its roots. Yes, We must uproot what has become a sordid national culture of corruption and penchant for reaping where we did not sow. To my colleagues and friends in the creative industry, we can no longer hide our heads in the sand and pretend that the battle to wipe out corruption in Nigeria and enthrone good governance does not concern us. If, and I say if, we have accepted to live with the rot that we see everywhere in Nigeria, we must ask ourselves if it is in this rot that we want our children and grandchildren to grow up. So today, on this No Music Day, I call on everyone in the Nigerian creative family to become generals and foot soldiers in the battle to rid Nigeria of the rot of corruption and bad leadership. We must deploy our voices, our writings, our movies and skits and drama to lead the war so that when the story is told, it will be clear that we did not run from our responsibilities. But if we are coming to justice, we must come with clean hands. If we are going to fight corruption, we must be sure that we are not corrupt ourselves. If we are fighting bad leadership, we have to be absolutely sure that we are not providing bad leadership ourselves. In other words, we must practice what we preach. So, I call on all the organizations in the creative industry to show good examples in the way we operate. Our organizations must be, I say, must be transparent and accountable. I state that no one should assume the leadership of any of our creative industry organizations without an open and clear mandate of the members from a free and fair elections conducted according to the rules and constitution of the organization. In each of our organizations, the abiding object must be to uphold and fight for the interest of our members and not the hijacking of the instruments of the organization for the personal enrichment of the leaders. Let me repeat, we must practice what we preach. As we deploy our voices, our writings, our movies, skits, and drama to lead the war against corruption and bad leadership in Nigeria, we must expose injustice wherever we find it. Anywhere we find another Nigerian suffering from the abuse of the power of the state, we must unmute the injustice, knowing that injustice done to one is injustice done to all. Anywhere we find that someone is stealing our commonwealth, we must unmute the injustice, knowing that corruption weakens all of us. Anywhere we see anyone manipulating corrupting our electoral system, we must unmute the injustice, knowing that anyone who will steal an election will steal everything else his eyes can see. Anywhere we find any of our countrymen engaging in any of those fraudulent activities that deface the image of our country, we must unmute the injustice, knowing that we all pay a price when we cannot travel around the world with our heads held high. Just think of it. Please think of it. No Nigerian star who has become successful did so as a result of any contribution or assistance of the Nigerian government or any of our numerous government agencies continuously expending billions of naira of public funds. Every Nigerian star across the world who has made it on his or her own. The tragedy of our development or lack of it is that when the government or any of its agencies touches any great idea, that idea is sentenced to failure. The reason is simple. The Nigerian public official, the average Nigerian public official, is not programmed to work for the public good. His focus is to corrupt any good idea and look for how to deploy the idea to grab whatever he can grab for himself, his family and friends. On this No Music Day, I restate the determination of COSON to remain a transparent and law-abiding agent of strength, unity, progress, and growth for the music industry in Nigeria, with the determination to shield the Nigerian music industry from scammers and marauders who work day and night to turn collective management of copyright into their personal cash cow and naira gushing ATM. On this No Music Day 2024, I call on the creatives of Nigeria to bind together and work together for the good of all, and to resist those who work day and night to divide us so that they can feast on that division. As we fight the battle for the soul of Nigeria at home, Nigerian creatives must continue to conquer territories and soar in every part of the world. Nigerian musicians must continue to pack venues big and small across the world. Nigerian movies must be dominant. Nigerian movies must be dominant everywhere we go. Nigerian fashion must be the toast of people in every part of the world. Nigerian sportsmen must conquer in every field, on every track, every court, and every ring. Nigerian content must be the reference point on every platform. I very much recognize the deep despair in the land, the hunger that threatens the life of millions of Nigerians, the insecurity that has snatched the lives of so many of our countrymen, and the anguish under which many Nigerians wake up in the morning and go to bed at night. Nigerian creatives cannot afford to give up. We must work together for the unity of our country and the progress of our nation. We must contribute to making Nigeria a nation in which people do not brazenly reap where they did not sow and comfortably steal what does not belong to them and amass wealth which they have not earned. On this No Music Day 2024, I pray for all Nigerians who are going through trials, tribulations, and hardship, and beg the Almighty to please meet their needs. God bless the Nigerian creative industry, and God bless the great people of Nigeria.